In today's class, what we're going to do is we will basically learn more about the head of an HTML. We're going to understand like why head is needed and why it is important. I'm sorry, Murli, I never said I'll be using Sublime. I said I'll be using IntelliJ. It's up to you if you want to use Sublime. I said don't use the terminal in the IntelliJ. We have an option to use a terminal. Just don't use that, but you can use the IntelliJ as is. And then basically make
Okay,
use of the
Shrikant.
Kripesh.
Got it.
Yeah, so you can use the Sublime to make, or IntelliJ to write the code. Just don't use the terminal of that. So,
Okay.
so as I was saying, we created a form. We looked into the Trinity structure. We also looked into the difference between an element and tag, and we constructed a sample form for us. We also looked in how a submit button works and how a reset button works. Okay. Today we'll explore how the head, this was all under the body part. As I said in the first few classes of HTML, whatever the user sees, this white part, okay, let me do a snipping tool. The highlighted part, you see, I don't know if you are able to make out. The entire white part which is selected by this snipping tool, this is what the body controls, okay? That this entire piece of the browser is what the body tag handles. So whatever you write inside the body tag, it will be visible for the user. Okay, user will be able to see anything that goes inside this body tag. If an element or if a tag is not understandable by the browser and you place it inside the body tag, it will simply render it. So in short, you can say that body is the rendering part of the HTML. Okay, whatever goes inside this body will be shown on the browser, and the body starts from the white part of the browser, starts at the top left and then goes with the very top bottom right. That entire area that I selected in snipping tool, that entire part is the body of your HTML file. Okay. Now, body is used to render stuff. Body is used to just show what user needs to see. But what does this head does, and why do we need it, and why it is so important, and why head is written before the body? Okay, I'll answer one by one. The head is needed because it holds the metadata. Okay, head holds the metadata. Okay, a metadata is nothing but data about data, meaning you have some data that you're showing inside the body tag, right? A metadata will have some information for that data, and we put it in the head part of the browser. And the reason is the head, whatever goes inside the head is not visible to the user. This is more for the browser's understanding. Okay, and tomorrow if you want to want to have your website, put it on a server or any of the servers, and you want your Google search or your Yahoo search engines to read the information from your website, then this head comes into the picture. Okay, like for example, I have some keywords in my website, like say DMV license form, for example. That's what the keyword is. Now, when a user types Google searches DMV license form in the search list, in the list of available links that Google provides, my website should come up. Okay, and how does that work? The search engines from the Google's servers, they will communicate the head part of my website, and then they will get the information from there. So there will be some keywords, like I'll say DMV, that's one keyword. Then I'll say license, and then I'll say form. All these three are certain keywords. So what happens is, when the Google search engine reads my head, the head of my website, it will read these keywords: DMV, license, form, and then in Google search, user has typed DMV license form. These three match, the keywords match, and then my website will be one in the list. Are you getting that? Let me complete. Let me repeat in Telugu also. ఇప్పుడు బాడీ వచ్చేసి, బాడీలో మీరు ఏది రాసినా, మీరు ఏ కంటెంట్, మీరు ఏ ఎలిమెంట్ రాసినా, బాడీ లోపల రాస్తే అది బ్రౌజర్లో రెండర్ అవుతుంది. సో ఏదైనా మీరు బాడీ లోపల రాస్తే అది రెండర్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే, బాడీ వచ్చేసి మీరే ఈ వైట్ పార్ట్ చూస్తున్నారే, ఈ మొత్తం వైట్ పార్ట్ చూస్తున్నారే, ఆ మొత్తం ఈజ్ వాట్ ద బాడీ ఆఫ్ దట్ వెబ్సైట్ ఇస్. ఓకే, ఈ వైట్ పార్ట్ మొత్తం వచ్చేసి బాడీ లోపల పెడతాం. సో మనకి హెడ్ ఎందుకు కావాలి? హెడ్ లోపల ఏమంటే మనం మెటా డేటా అంటూ పెడతాం. ఆ మెటా డేటా విల్ హోల్డ్ అన్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్, అంటే దాని లోపల మెటా డేటా లోపలే కొంచెం ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఉంది మీ వెబ్సైట్ లో మీరు ఏం రెండర్ చేస్తున్నారు దాని గురించి. సో ఇన్ షార్ట్, ఇట్ హోల్డ్స్ డేటా ఫర్ యువర్ డేటా. ఓకే, సో ఈ డేటా అంటే ఈ మెటా డేటా పట్టుకొని గూగుల్ సెర్చ్ ఇంజిన్స్ లేకపోతే యాహూ సెర్చ్ ఇంజిన్స్ ఉన్నాయో అవేం చేస్తారంటే ఈ మెటా డేటాని రీడ్ చేస్తుంది. ఈ రీడ్ చేసిన తర్వాత దాని లోపల ఉన్న కీవర్డ్స్ ని పట్టుకొని వాళ్ళ సెర్చ్ రిజల్ట్స్ ని చూపిస్తారు. ఓకే, హే, ఐ ఫౌండ్ దిస్ కీవర్డ్ ఇన్ దిస్ వెబ్సైట్, go ahead and do it. Maybe this is what you're looking for. So like for example, if I do Google and I say Boeing, for example, okay, ఇట్లా కొట్టాను అనుకోండి. ఇప్పుడు వెల్కమ్ టు ది అఫీషియల్ కార్పొరేట్ సైట్ ఆఫ్ ద వరల్డ్స్ లార్జెస్ట్ ఏరోస్పేస్ లీడింగ్ టు మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చర్, ఈ మొత్తం టెక్స్ట్ ఉందే, ఈ లింక్ నేను క్లిక్ చేశాను అనుకోండి, ఈ వెబ్సైట్ లో అసలు ఆ టెక్స్ట్ లేదు. చూడండి, that text doesn't exist in this link. Let me open that link on the separate file. You see, this entire text doesn't exist anywhere in this in the web page. That's because this is a metadata. Okay, ఈ మెటాడేటా లోపలే గూగుల్స్ ఏం చేస్తున్నాయంటే ఈ మెటాడేటా రీడ్ చేస్తున్నాయి. రీడ్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఓకే, యూఆర్ లుకింగ్ ఫర్ ఈ కీవర్డ్ ఉందా చూడండి, బోయింగ్ అని, ఇక్కడ దట్ ఈస్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద keywords that they have placed inside this website. So if I try to inspect element and then scroll to the top and then try to expand the head, metadata content, okay, JavaScript నుంచి లోడ్ చేస్తున్నారు అన్నమాట ఇట్లు. Okay, here you go. Description. This is the text. Welcome to the official corporate site of the world largest aerospace. Okay, this is what a metadata is. This description will basically hold some description for your website, and that's exactly what your Google search engine is showing. See this text and this text are the same. So that's why we need to have a head, because we want to show some information about our information, like the information that we are showing in our website. Clear? Do you guys want me to repeat in Hindi also? Are you getting it? Do you want me to repeat, guys? Let me repeat one more time, okay? Let me repeat one more time in Hindi, okay? आप जो भी वेब यूजर्स, अभी मैं ये वेबसाइट देख रहा हूँ, ठीक है? ये बोइंग वालों का वेबसाइट में देख रहा हूँ. जो भी मैं देख रहा हूँ वो पूरा कोड, एवरीथिंग जो मैं देख रहा हूँ इन दिस वेबसाइट, वो ये जो पूरा कोड है वो आता है बॉडी के अंदर. सो इन शॉर्ट हम ये कह सकते हैं कि बॉडी इज यूज्ड टू रेंडर द वेबसाइट. जो यूजर देखेगा वो सिर्फ बॉडी में आएगा. देन हमको हेड की क्या जरूरत है? वेल, हेड जो है वो आपका जो इंफॉर्मेशन है उसके बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन रखता है. हम उसके बारे में थोड़ा सा डिटेल्स या थोड़े कीवर्ड्स जानबूझ के छोड़ते हैं उधर, ताकि कुछ वेबसाइट्स लाइक सर्च इंजन होते हैं जैसे google.com या yahoo.com, वो जो है ये सब ये मेटा डाटा रीड करते हैं, वो बॉडी रीड नहीं करते हैं, क्योंकि बॉडी इज सो बिग, दे कांट रीड दिस मच. अगर ये पूरा वो अगर पढ़ते बैठेंगे तो उनका सर्च इंजन, उनका जो सर्च मैकेनिज्म है वो बहुत स्लो हो जाएगा, कोई उनके वेबसाइट में झांकेगा भी नहीं. सो इसके लिए हम लोग क्या करते हैं कि इतना पूरा इंफॉर्मेशन सबमिट करने के बजाय हम एक मेटा डाटा डाल देते हैं हेड में. वो मेटा डाटा जो है आपके वेबसाइट के बारे में या उस वेब पेज के बारे में या उस HTML फाइल के बारे में थोड़ा इंफॉर्मेशन छोड़ देता है. उसके साथ साथ हम थोड़े बहुत कीवर्ड्स भी डाल देते हैं. अभी हमारा एक जो एग्जांपल इधर, हम लोग जो है DMV लाइसेंस के बारे में लिख रहे हैं, तो हम लोग हमारे मेटा डाटा में कीवर्ड्स छोड़ेंगे. DMV, लाइसेंस, लर्नर्स, फॉर्म, all these are all like kind of keywords. Also an applicant can also become one of the keyword in this HTML file. मतलब मेरे पास एक और HTML फाइल है तो उसका मेटा डाटा अलग होगा, इसका मेटा डाटा अलग होगा. ठीक है? The metadata I'll be using for this particular HTML will be specific to only this file, for this HTML file. If I have another HTML file, the metadata will be different for that, because that website, that HTML file will have some other information. Okay? No metadata should be kind of, unless and until they share the same data, same information in their body, you will not be writing the same metadata in the two. Okay? Clear? So with that mindset, okay, with that being said, there are only couple of uh, tags, or you can say elements, are available for us, which we can write inside the head. So one is the title, as you can see. A second one is a style. Okay. A third one is script. Oops, I have caps on. Oops. Okay. Fourth one is link. Okay. Fifth one is base. And finally, we have meta. Okay. We have only this much of elements, or you can say tags, or both basically, because we have both link and as well as scripts and styles and like that. So only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are total 6 elements and tags that are available for us in that you can write inside head. That means you cannot have a div inside a head, okay? Or you cannot have article. Whatever goes inside the body cannot be used in head. Similarly, whatever goes in head, you cannot write inside the body. Okay, that is the thumb rule. You have to just deal with it. There are only 6 elements and tags that you can use inside head, and you cannot use them inside your body. Similarly, the elements and tags that you use in your body, you cannot use it inside your head. Okay. Now, the title, this is the title of our HTML file. Again, all these elements are specific to this particular HTML file. Okay, so that's why I'm saying for our HTML file, or you can say of this HTML file. Okay, in this case, I have a title of form. When I say that, you see our page here, it says form. That is the title of our website. Okay, if I can totally change it to say DMV new license form and save it, go back here and refresh it. Now it says DMV new license form. So that is what this title does. Okay, next is style. This is used to write CSS styles on the HTML file itself. Okay, we can write CSS styles inside this. Okay, we can say like body can have background color black, or let's not say black, let's say red. If I do that, entire page goes red. Okay, that's just an example. Don't worry, we will continue. We'll get in depth when we are dealing with CSS. Okay, so that's how we write the styles. Let me change this to gray color. Gray is, I think, E3, E3, E3. Or no, E, 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 E. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6. Okay. So that's style. Script. This is used to write JavaScript on the HTML file itself. Okay, I can show you an example, but I don't want to, because I want to cover this when we are dealing with JavaScript. Okay, so just for the time being, just understand that you can write JavaScript within this tag or within this element called script. Okay. Finally, a link. Link is used. Oops. What happened? Now this is used to link an external source. Now what does that mean? We can always, we can always link an external file into our HTML file. But the problem is, if we try to, have some external unknown files linked to our file, to our HTML file, your browser will not understand what's going on. Okay, like for example, I can have a txt file, like a notepad file, using this link, connect to my HTML file. But our browsers will never understand, like, you know, what kind of txt file is, because it doesn't understand what txt. It only understands JavaScript, or it only understands the CSS file. So this link is mostly used to get access of the external image files and to get external style sheet files. Only two. Okay. This is used to source only CSS files and images. Okay, and to do that, we say link href. Href is the attribute where you can pass in the URL, and inside this I can have my external style sheet file. So let's look for like a dummy CSS file, something like that. Do we have something like that? I'm just looking for an external CSS file I can add to my, just to show you. Okay, styles. I have the less files here. Need CSS files. Public assets. Not an image. I just want to have. Anyways, yeah. Sorry. Let me. Just need to have a CSS file. Where can I get it? CSS GitHub. Let's try that. Or you know what? Why am I that's my bad. Why I should have done this actually. Download. So let's say I want to have this framework, Bootstrap. This is a CSS framework. We will discuss that when we are dealing with CSS. But let's say I want to have Bootstrap added to my page, but I don't want to download the file. Okay, I cannot download the file. So what I can do is I can always have this URL added to my website. So like for example, if I open this website, this is the Bootstrap file. This is how it looks. Okay, this has an extension called .css. So if I copy this URL and if I go here and simply paste like this, so it's going to say link href and then the URL to the CSS file that we want to have. If I save this, if I go back and I refresh the page, you will see inside the sources, not sources, where is that, network. You will see that I have added the Bootstrap CSS to my website. Now I can go here and I can try to add a sample. Oops, I can have a sample HTML, like a sample style I want to. Let's go to components and then I can go to, let me go to buttons, okay? Let me try that. Is that page? Where is the, oh, I'm in the wrong section. CSS, go to forms, buttons. Okay, the Bootstrap buttons look like this, okay? And they say, like, if you want to have this kind of button, then all you need to do is add a class attribute to your button, and then you will see the button change. So in our web page, we have this submit as a grayish color button, right? So now I can simply go ahead and then inside my submit, I can add this class. Don't worry about this class attribute when we are dealing with CSS and JavaScript. I'll explain you in depth, okay? So don't worry about that for now. If I go ahead and if I refresh this page, nothing happened. Let's see why it did not happen. BTN primary, that is correct. So the bootstrap did not work. Oh, okay, I know why. Okay, I know why. Okay. As I said, I'm sorry, let me recap a little. I said that this link keyword is used to link an external source file, and you can have either CSS files or you can have the image files, but you need to clearly specify which kind of file this link is going to accept. Okay, and to do that, we say link, then say rel. Rel means relative to what? In short, rel. And then I need to say I'm expecting a style sheet. So what it does is when browser render like tries to read this HTML file, it reads the head, then goes into the title, styles, scripts, and then finally it gets into this link. And then when it encounters this keyword link, the browser tells itself like, okay, I will be expecting a third-party file like an external file, which is of type style sheet, and this is the URL for me to get that file. And when I does that, it will basically attach that file to my page. When I do that, you see, suddenly the style of the page changed. Now it has added the bootstrap button. Now, if I go back to network, you will see this bootstrap min.css file. And in the sources also, it should show here at the bottom, you see. If I expand that, this is the file, and this is the file. This entire thing is a file, and that basically adds that external file to my page. So this is how your link works, and this is how you want to basically have it. Clear? కావాలంటే నేను మళ్ళీ రిపీట్ చేస్తా. ఇప్పుడు ఏంటంటే మనకి 6 టోటల్ 6 కంబైన్డ్ ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఇంకా ట్యాగ్స్ అవైలబుల్ ఉన్నాయి హెడ్ లోపల రాయటానికి. ఓకే, దాంట్లో అంటే ఆరే మీరు రాయగలుగుతారు. ఆ 6 వచ్చేసి మీకు ఆ హెడ్ లోపలే రాయాలి, మీరు బాడీ లోపల రాయకూడదు ఎప్పుడు. సరే, బాడీ లోపల కూడా మనం ఏ ట్రినిటీ స్ట్రక్చర్ అయితే రాస్తున్నామో అది వచ్చేసి మన హెడ్ లోపల రాయకూడదు. మేము రాయం. మీరు రాస్తున్నారంటే బ్రౌజర్ కి అది అర్థం కాదు. మీ 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 వెబ్సైట్ క్రాష్ అవ్వచ్చు. క్రాష్ అంటే అదే, అంటే కీప్ ఆన్ రీలోడింగ్. అది చేస్తూ 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 ఒకసారి అంటే తనే చచ్చిపోతుంది. ఓకే, సో అది అవాయిడ్ చేయడానికి యూ బేసిక్లీ రైట్ విత్ 6 ట్యాగ్స్ అండ్ ఎలిమెంట్స్. దాని నుంచి మొదట వచ్చేసి టైటిల్ అన్నమాట. టైటిల్ ఏంటంటే మీ వెబ్సైట్ కి ఒక టైటిల్ ఇచ్చినట్టు. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ గూగుల్లో నేను బోయింగ్ అని కొట్టాను కదా, బోయింగ్ కి టైటిల్ వచ్చేసి ఇదిగో ఈ కీవర్డ్, ఇది టైటిల్ అన్నమాట ఆ వెబ్ పేజ్ కి. ఇప్పుడు దీంట్లో ఇక్కడ వెళ్ళాను అనుకోండి, ఇక్కడ ట్విట్టర్ ఉంటుంది ఎక్కడో. సరే, ఇది ఒకటి ఉంది కదా, ఇది వికీపీడియా చూడండి, అది ఆ పేజ్ కి టైటిల్ అన్నమాట. సరే, ఇప్పుడు నేను దీన్ని ఓపెన్ చేశాను అనుకోండి, ఇదిగో చూడండి బోయింగ్ వికీపీడియా అని చూపిస్తుంది. అదనమాట టైటిల్ ఫర్ మన పేజ్ కి. సో అదొక ఎలిమెంట్ అవైలబుల్ ఫర్ అస్ ఇన్సైడ్ ద హెడ్. నెక్స్ట్ వచ్చేసి మనకి స్టైల్ అని ఒకటి ఉంది. దీని లోపల మనం స్టైల్స్ రాసుకోవచ్చు సిఎస్ఎస్. డోంట్ వరీ, మన నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్ లో అంటే నెక్స్ట్ కమింగ్ క్లాసెస్ లో మనం సిఎస్ఎస్ ఎట్లా రాస్తాం అది మేము ఇన్ డెప్త్ గా ఎక్స్ప్లోర్ చేద్దాం. కానీ ప్రస్తుతానికి అర్థం చేసుకోండి, మన స్టైల్ ఇట్లా రాసుకోవచ్చు. సిమిలర్లీ జావా స్క్రిప్ట్ రాయాలంటే జావా స్క్రిప్ట్ కూడా మనం ఇట్లా స్క్రిప్ట్ అని పెట్టేసి దీని లోపల మనం జావా స్క్రిప్ట్ రాసుకోవాలి. ఫైనలీ మనకు వచ్చేసి ఒక లింక్ అని ఒకటి ఉంది. ఈ లింక్ ఏంటంటే ఏదైనా ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ఫైల్స్ ఉన్నాయనుకోండి, ఆ ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ఫైల్స్ ని మన వెబ్సైట్ లో మనం వాడుకోవాలనుకుంటే వీ కెన్ యూస్ లింక్. కానీ HTML అంటే అంటే HTML ఇస్ నాట్ దట్ ఇంటెలిజెంట్. ఓకే, HTML ఇంకా బ్రౌజర్స్ వీళ్ళకి అసలే అంత బుర్ర లేదు. సో వీళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తారంటే ఉత్తి స్టైల్ షీట్స్ అయినా లేకపోతే ఇమేజెస్ అయినా ఈ రెండే సపోర్ట్ చేస్తారు. ఓకే, సో వీ నీడ్ టు స్పెసిఫై విచ్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఫైల్ దిస్ లింక్ ఇస్ ఎక్స్పెక్టింగ్. సో దానికి మనం వచ్చేసి ఇట్లా రెల్ అని ఒకటి రాస్తాం, రిలేటివ్ ఫైల్ పాత్ అన్నట్టు. అంటే అరియల్ కి ఎగ్జాక్ట్ నాకు ఒకసారి నేను చూస్తాను, నాకు కూడా అర్థం, నేను మర్చిపోయినా. లింక్ రెల్ ఫుల్ ఫామ్ ఈ రెల్ గురించి వీడు కూడా రాయలేదు. The required rel attribute okay specifies the relationship between the current document and the linked document. ఓకే, రిలేషన్షిప్ అన్నమాట. అంటే మీ వెబ్సైట్ కి ఇంకా మీ కనెక్ట్ చేస్తున్న ఫైల్ కి అసలు లింక్ ఏంటి, అంటే వాట్ ఈస్ ద రిలేషన్షిప్ బిట్వీన్ దోస్ టూ, అది ఈ ఆర్ఎల్ చెప్తుంది అనమాట. ఇది కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్, ఎందుకంటే మన బ్రౌజర్ కి అర్థం కాదు నువ్వు అసలు స్టైల్ షీట్ ఇస్తున్నావా, లేకపోతే టెక్స్ట్ ఫైల్ ఇస్తున్నావా, లేకపోతే ఈఎక్సి ఫైల్ కనెక్ట్ చేస్తున్నావా, లేకపోతే పీడిఎఫ్ ఫైల్ కనెక్ట్ చేస్తున్నావా, బ్రౌజర్ కి అర్థం కాదు. సో అది చెప్పడానికి మనం ఇట్లా ఆర్ఎల్ అని రాసేసి దానికి స్టైల్ షీట్ అని చెప్తాం. స్టైల్ షీట్ మీన్స్ a CSS. Similarly for images you say PNG or JPG or image. If you say images, it will understand like, okay, this is an image, it is expecting an image, and then basically it will go grab that image for a mask. We mostly don't put images in the link rel, but we put the favicons. What are favicons is this. You see this W right next to this Boeing Wikipedia? The Google has, like Google search has this G. The Bootstrap CSS has this B purple color, or this W3C school has this green W3. Those are called as favicons. We use images to link the favicons, but mostly you will see style sheet linked like this. మనం ఇట్లా రిలేషన్షిప్ అని పెట్టేసి దాని లోపల స్టైల్ షీట్స్ రాస్తాం. దాని తర్వాత మనం ఒక href అని ఒక అట్రిబ్యూట్ మళ్ళీ పెడతాం. ఆ href లోపల మనం మొత్తం కంప్లీట్ URL పెడతాం ఫర్ ద ఫైల్ టు గెట్ ద ఫైల్. అదొకసారి అయిపోయినాక ఏమైతుందంటే బ్రౌజర్ when it is rendering this website, since head comes before the body, it executes head first. Okay, and inside the head, since we are saying that style sheet go get an external file, it will stop the process. It will go finds that file, grabs it, and then puts it or links it with our HTML, and then moves forward with the body. That's how it works, and that is why you have to put head before the body. Okay, so this may be an interview question saying that, why do you have head before the body? And the answer to that is because there are certain metadata, and metadata like link which grabs an external files, those needs to get executed before my HTML renders. ఇప్పుడు ఏంటంటే ఇది నేను దాని బాడీ తర్వాత వచ్చింది అనుకోండి, ఏమైతుందంటే వెబ్ పేజ్ లోడ్ అయిపోతుంది డమ్మీలా. అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఈ బ్లూ కలర్ బటన్ ఉందే అది రాదు, ఈ క్యాన్సిల్ బటన్ ఉందే అట్లా ఉంటుంది ఆ సబ్మిట్ బటన్, అది అయిపోయిన తర్వాత మీకు మీ ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ఫైల్స్ వస్తాయి. సో ఏమవుతుందంటే ఆ ఎక్స్టర్నల్ ఫైల్స్ లో ఏదైనా స్టైల్స్ ఉన్నాయో అది ఎప్పటికీ అప్లై అవ్వవు. సో we don't want that. We want those files be available for us before our body loads. So that's why head comes before. And that's how you write a link. Okay. Next is the base. Base is, how should I say it? It defines the base URL for our website. When I say base URL, let me, how should I say it? Let's, okay. Let's say, like, once you are done with your website development, okay, once you are done with all your HTML files, you are done with all your CSS files, you are done with your JavaScript files, you put everything, you put all these files into a server. Now that server, how should I say it? That server has an IP address, right? In the very first class, I think I said that every machine has an IP address, and it is very difficult to remember all these IP addresses. So they create a domain like www.google.com or www.shurikar.com, for example. We have a domain like that. That domain is an alias to an IP address. So our server should understand that, okay, if any user anywhere in the world says www.shurikar.com, it has to hit or it has to point to my IP address, and in fact it should point to my HTML file, which is this index.html file. And the only way to do that is by saying the base href, the base URL. So basically what happens is this, I'll explain you again one more time. This is used to specify the base URL of our web page. And the syntax is href. Okay. And then a good example will be something like this. www.shurikar.com/. This is how it will be. Okay. Or if the server is smart enough to create the alias as is, then what will happen is we can simply say /home, something like that. I don't know if this will work here, but let's, yeah, it's not going to work like that because I don't have a server. But in any ways, okay, what will happen is, I'll repeat in Telugu once for a second, and then I'll explain you in Hindi also. ఇప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే మనకి ఇప్పుడు లెట్స్ సే మన డెవలప్మెంట్ మొత్తం అయిపోయింది, మన HTML ఫైల్ క్రియేట్ అయిపోయింది, మన ఒక CSS ఫైల్ కూడా క్రియేట్ అయిపోయింది, ఒక JavaScript కూడా మనం రెడీ చేసేసాం మన వెబ్సైట్ కి. ఈ మొత్తం ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ తీసుకొని మనం ఒక సర్వర్ లో పెడతాం. ఎందుకంటే ఆ సర్వర్ కి స్టాటిక్ IP అడ్రస్ అని ఉంటుంది. అది మీకు అవసరం అంటే మీకు అంత అర్థం చేసుకోవటం అవసరం లేదు. బట్ బేసిక్లీ ఒక సర్వర్ లో పెడతాం, ఎందుకంటే సర్వర్ ఇస్ పవర్ఫుల్ కంపేర్ టు మై మషీన్. సర్వర్ ఇంకా 24 hours నడుస్తూ ఉంటుంది, మన మషీన్ మనం షట్ డౌన్ చేసేస్తాం. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ అడ్వైజబుల్ టు పుట్ యువర్ వెబ్సైట్ ఫ్రమ్ యువర్ ఓన్ మషీన్. ఓకే, మనం ఒక సర్వర్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం, లేకపోతే ఒక క్లౌడ్ కొంటాం, క్లౌడ్ ఇన్స్టెన్స్ ఒకటి కొంటాం. అదేంటంటే 24/7 నడుస్తూనే ఉంటుంది. సో ఎప్పుడైనా మీరు ఆ వెబ్సైట్ ని ఓపెన్ చేస్తే అది బంద్ అవ్వదు, అది ఎప్పుడైనా నడుస్తూ ఉంటుంది. సో అందుకే ఆ సర్వర్ లో పెడతాం. కానీ ప్రతి సర్వర్ కి ఒక IP అడ్రస్ ఉంటూ ఉంటుంది. మీకు గుర్తుందో లేదో నేను ఫస్ట్ క్లాస్ లో ఏం చెప్పానంటే ఒక ఐపీ అడ్రస్ గుర్తు పెట్టుకోవడానికి మనకి అంత 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 లైక్ అంత మనకి అంత ఫ్లెక్సిబిలిటీ లేదు, అంటే మనం గుర్తు పెట్టుకోలేము అన్ని నెంబర్స్. సో అందుకే మనం ఏం చేస్తాం అంటే ఒక ఏలియస్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం, దాన్నే డొమైన్ అంటారు. విల్ క్రియేట్ అ డొమైన్ ఫర్ అవర్ సర్వర్. గుడ్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఒకటి వచ్చేసి google.com. ఆ google.com వచ్చేసి ఒక డొమైన్ అన్నమాట. సో మొత్తం ప్రపంచంలో ఎవరైనా ఎక్కడైనా google.com అని కొడితే అదే ఏమైతుందంటే మన సర్వర్ ట్రిగర్ అవుతుంది, మన సర్వర్ కి ఇట్లా తెలుస్తుంది, ఓకే ఎవరో నా డొమైన్ ని క్లిక్ చేశారు, అయితే నా ఐపీ అడ్రస్ క్లిక్ అయింది. ఆ ఐపీ అడ్రస్ క్లిక్ అయిన వెంటనే అదొచ్చేసి దాని లోపల ఉన్న ఫైల్స్ ఉన్నాయా అది టనల్ త్రూ పంపించేస్తుంది టు దాట్ యూజర్. ఇప్పుడు ఆ బ్రౌజర్ మొత్తం ఫైల్ తీసేసుకుంది కదా, అది క్యాష్ లో పెట్టేసుకుంది. అది అయిపోయిన తర్వాత ఆ బ్రౌజర్ వచ్చేసి ఆ ఫైల్ లోపల పోతుంది. నా ఒకసారి అజ్యూమ్ చేయండి నా దగ్గర 3-4 HTML ఫైల్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఆ బ్రౌజర్ వచ్చేసి అది కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అయిపోతుంది. నేను షుడ్ ఐ పికప్ index.html or should I pick up home.html, let's say, or if I should I pick up contact us.html, ఏ ఫైల్ తీసుకోవాలి అది స్పెసిఫై చేయడానికి మనం ఇట్లా బేస్ href అని రాస్తాం. బేస్ URL సర్వర్ లోపల మనం ఏం చెప్తామంటే ఎవరైనా google.com కొట్టాడు అనుకోండి, నువ్వేం చేస్తావంటే google.com/home అని నువ్వు ఓపెన్ చేయాలా. ఆ /home అని ఉన్నది అది ఈ index.html ఫైల్లోనే ఉంటుంది. సో టు డిఫైన్ దట్ /home we say base href. ठीक है, I'll repeat in हिंदी. अभी जब हमने अपना पूरा फाइल्स जो है सर्वर पे रखा है और लेट्स से और वो ऑनलाइन हो गया, हमारा वेबसाइट ऑनलाइन हो गया, बट लेट्स अज्यूम कि एक ही लोकेशन पे हमारे पास 3 HTML फाइल्स है. एक है index.html, एक है contact us HTML एंड देन एक है home.html फॉर एग्जांपल. ठीक है, ऐसे 3 HTML फाइल्स हैं. नाउ किसी ने मेरा वेबसाइट खोलने की कोशिश की, लेट्स से वो कहीं इंडोनेशिया में बैठा है, उसने जो है श्रीकर.com बोल के वेबसाइट खोला या सर्च किया, तो क्या होगा कि वो जब भी श्रीकर.com हिट करेगा, वो जो हिट है वो मेरे सर्वर को आके कनेक्ट होगा और मेरा सर्वर क्या बोलेगा कि हाँ भाई मेरा डोमेन, किसी ने मेरा डोमेन खोलने की कोशिश की है, मुझे क्या करना है कि मुझे एक टनल बिल्ड करना है, मतलब एक टनल ब्रिज क्रिएट करना है, और ये जितने भी फाइल्स है 3 HTML फाइल्स हैं, वो तीनों की तीनों HTML फाइल उसको ट्रांसफर करने. जब उसका ब्राउजर ये 3 HTML फाइल लेगा तब वो कंफ्यूज हो जाएगा कि भाई कौन सा फाइल है जो मुझे खोलना है, क्या मुझे index.html खोलना है या home.html खोलना है या contactus.html खोलना है. तो इसके लिए फाइल्स भेजने के बाद में हमारा सर्वर जो है वो उसके ब्राउजर को ये भी बोलेगा कि जब तू ये 3 फाइल्स डाउनलोड कर ले तो तेरे को जो है श्रीकर.com के बाद में /home खोलना है. ठीक है, /home जब तू खोलेगा वो जो है वो पॉइंट करेगा मेरे index.html को, ऐसा मैं सर्वर में लिखूंगा. ठीक है, नाउ जब ब्राउजर को वो इंफॉर्मेशन मिलेगा तो ब्राउजर क्या करेगा, वो श्रीकर.com बोलेगा, फिर /home डाल देगा और फिर ये तीनों फाइल्स में index.html, home.html और contactus.html में वो /home का रेफरेंस ढूंढेगा कि भाई कौन से पेज में /home लिखा हुआ है. And the only way to create that reference is by giving this tag name called base. We say base and then we say href meaning this is what you need to create the link as, and then we'll say /home. तो क्या होगा कि ब्राउजर फिर समझेगा कि अच्छा ये तो index.html है, तो जो भी है index.html में कंटेंट वो मुझे पूरा वहां रखना है. ठीक है, this is how we declare the base, the URL for our website. This is optional, meaning it totally depends on your server setup. if your server says no matter what happens, if people say Shrikar.com, or if people say Shrikar.com/home, or if people say Shrikar.com just a slash, I do not care. Just point it to index.html. If this is what your server says, then no matter what, it will serve the index.html file. So at that time, you will not be writing this base href. I will show you a good example of Boeing. We had that Boeing, right? If I open this Boeing.com website, and if I go and inspect element, I'll expand this head and I'll look for this base URL reference, the base href, I'm sorry. Style script, style script, style script, style. There is no base href. So that means the server which is hosting this www.boeing.com, it is not creating anything like /home. It is simply creating boeing.com. And in that server, it is said that no matter what happens, if anyone opens this link, you need to open that HTML file. So that's why you don't have that href. Okay? I can always say this is optional and to be written based on server configuration. Clear, guys? Did you understand base href? Did you get it? Base href. So this, as I said, is optional. You don't need to write it for every single time. I mean, it totally depends on the server. So like if you are in a company, if you're working for a company where the server, where you'll be asked, but you'll be told by the, the developers, like, like your team members or the server guy saying that, okay, my server is pointing to /home. Now you need to make those changes in our application. If that is being said, at that point you'll be saying base href, and then you'll be leaving a /home reference. Clear? Now we'll move to the meta. This is used to describe more meta information which are not covered by the above 5. The HTML, the people who developed HTML were so generous that they gave us the option to create our own meta tags. Okay? And we use the keyword called meta. Using this, we can describe an info, like we can have a small description about our website. As I said, I can always have few keywords available for my for the search engines. And to do that, let's say I'll do this. What I can do is I'll say meta, then I'll say name. Name is the what do you call it's the type of meta that you want to have. And basically every meta tag will have this attribute. You must provide it. So let's say I want to have a description for my website. So I'll say name as description, and then I'll say content. What is the content that you want to put? This is the official DMV website for creating license, for applying, let's say, for applying license. License. There is a typo. And if I save it, go back and refresh my page. If I just hover over that, you will not be able to see any description because, as I said, description are triggered by the search engines. And since our website is not alive, I cannot show you that. But if you expand this head and if you scroll to this meta will hold that description. It's the same thing what the Boeing had from the Google. So this thing that you say, welcome to the official corporate and blah blah blah, that is the meta description of this website, of this web page. And based using that, the search engine basically understands, like, what kind of description it is hitting. I can similarly have a meta tag, a meta with name as keywords, and then say content. I will have DMV. I can have license. I can have something like license form, just form, applicant, etc. I mean, these are some of the few. This is how basically the tag. What was your question? Let me see. I have seen UTF equal to 8 attribute. Can you explain about that? Okay, yeah, of course. I was about to get that actually. We have also something called as not name, I think it's char set, yeah. And then we basically define which kind of characteristics we want to have. Let me do a small Google on char set so that you'll understand what it is. Okay. No, what is cars? I don't want to see in HTML. What is characteristics? This is nothing but an ASCII values defined with 127 alphanumeric characters, special numbers, and special characters. Meaning, if I and UTF-8 8 has bytes information. Where is that? Yeah, UTF-8. A UTF-8 character will be from 1 to 4 bytes long, and a 16-bit will be more than that. So, to your question, what is UTF-8? UTF-8 means is basically we are telling the browser that whatever information that you're going to find in this web page, it's not going to be more than 4 bytes in size. Okay, if I accidentally say 32, the browser's memory will expect, okay, there's going to be more than 4 bytes of data, and basically I need to expand my memory to hold all the information that is coming from this particular web page. This 32 is not going to be in any of the web page because 32 bits means almost 256 bytes. That is way too much data. As I said, all of these pages, like if I open up the C drive, go to my folder, go this and inspect on this particular page, this file is hardly 4.7 kilobytes. This is the size of the file, okay? Not the memory that it needs to render this file. So what I'm trying to get at is like how your computers have RAM, random access memory, to basically perform different operations simultaneously without stepping on each other. Similarly, the browsers, when they read an HTML file, they need to understand what kind of how big of the data they are expecting in this 4 bytes of data, that is UTF-8. If for some reason my HTML is more than 1000 lines per se, or 500 lines even though, if it is more than 500 lines, chances are that my website will crash at one point, because here I am saying that you need to expect only 4 bytes of data. 500 lines means it has to render more elements, and as it has to render more elements, it has to grab more memory, it has to reserve more memory, and that will basically break its memory leak. So this is what memory leaks happen from the HTML side. Okay, quite honestly speaking, you don't need to worry about it, because all you need to know is that HTML4 used to support UTF-8, HTML5 only supports 16. Okay, so standard is, yeah, HTML5 standard is UTF-8. There is an ISO consortium. Basically, this is kind of stepping off track. If you are interested, you can always come to this URL. Okay, this has more information about it. You can have a read on that. But it basically describes about the entire space that your browser takes to just render that particular web page, that particular HTML file. Okay, and UTF-8 has some ASCII characters. ASCII means we don't support, like English language, right? This English language supports alphabets, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, all the 26 alphabets, and it supports the 10 numbers, and it supports certain special characters. But it doesn't support Egyptian characters. That is not a part of ASCII code. Egyptian characters has those weird like E with an like an apostrophe at top of them. Those kind of characters, those are special characters. So you need to specifically declare which kind of language characters char set that you want to use, and basically describe that in your web page. This is standard UTF-8. This line that I've written on line number 32, this is standard. It's not going to change. Just keep in mind that if you're writing any HTML head, do mention like this, and everything should be good. Okay, guys, any questions at this point? Did you guys understand what is head and why do we need head, and why do we use them? Why head comes at the top, why body comes at the bottom? Did you guys understand that? If you have any questions, please let me know. And I'll tell you. Okay. There is one other topic that I wanted to talk about is iframes. We have a concept of iframes in HTML where you can use one HTML file inside the other. Okay, let's say for example I created another HTML5 file and I'll say hello. So let's say this guy has a title of hello and whoa, indentation. Okay, and inside this body let's say I have, let's for a time being say Trinity is not there. We just say heading, and then we say hello world. Okay. If I want to use this hello.html inside this index.html, I can do that by using iframes and collapse the form. I'll create let me put this in an aside, and then I'll say iframe, and then basically has an attribute called source, and this source is basically relative to my index.html file. Meaning, if I am saying simply hello.html, that means this hello.html and index.html, they are in the same folder. Okay, let's say I want to grab uh, this first class.html from this folder. Then what I need to say is dot dot, meaning go one level up. So from index it goes one level up, which is 10/12/2016. Now I'll say this folder name, which is 10 underscore 09 underscore 2016. Then I'll say first class dot html. Let me open this. It is empty, so let me quickly add something in the body. Let me say h1 first class, something like that. Okay, so now when I go back and when I refresh this page, right, okay, IntelliJ, file C program file to load. That's because why? File not found? That is weird. Okay, yeah, file not found. Okay, there is something missing. Hold on, guys. So copy path. Huh. Why it is saying C? It should not say C. Actually, it should say the entire file name. Okay, let me use this instead. The full path of the file, C colon my entire file. See, my files are inside this UI October 2016 class, but for some reason it's saying C colon, which is wrong. So let me refresh this. Okay, now I got it. I don't. So there is something wrong with the relative pathing. If I go like this, huh? Well, that is weird. Well, anyways, the source is basically relative to the location of your HTML file, and most of these cases you use iframes to have another web page inside your file. So basically you will not be loading a direct HTML file, but mainly you'll be saying something like this. Come on. I don't know, IntelliJ is acting up something, but this is how basically iframe works. Okay, you can basically have entire source, like have one HTML inside your another HTML, and it will work. Okay, if I replace this entire thing with hello world, hello.html, see, that's weird. That's super weird. Refresh, and you see hello world. So basically, I can have another HTML inside here, and then yeah, let me try that. By the way, I can try this though, as Jay said. Yeah, it doesn't like that. Anyways, that's fine, guys. But anyways, I have one HTML inside my actual HTML file. So we use these iframes to do so. But the only drawback here is that whatever whatever is written inside this HTML, mostly that is just rendered. So if you try to perform some actions on that particular HTML, then your main HTML file will not get that. Meaning if I, let's say, if there is a button, let's say if I'm clicking on this hello world and there is a button, okay, then what happens is that button, only this iframe will get that information of that button click. This entire HTML will have no information about what's going on inside that iframes. So iframes are riskier because in future you'll be using style sheets, and then you'll be also dealing with JavaScript. And at the time of JavaScript, if you are using iframes, the JavaScript will get confused, and it will not understand whether to trigger on the main HTML file or on this the inside HTML file. It will get totally confused. So we have the option to have one HTML inside the other, but it is expensive. You need to be careful when you're dealing with iframes. Does the iframe source HTML load after the main HTML loads? Yeah, of course, because see, iframe is a part of the body. See, so it has to render. So again, it's coming as sequence, Bhaskar. It is coming as top to bottom sequence. The browser reads this body, then it reads article, header, section, then form, and then it comes to this aside, then it reads this iframe. Then it gets that file, and if it cannot find it, it throws that error, but it moves on, and then it completes the actual rendering of the main HTML file. So they don't both load, no, they don't load at the same time. They load one after the other. And if I go back to network here, you will see index.html came first, and then the hello.html came second. So they don't load at the same time. They load one after the other. Okay? Here, guys? Did you guys understand the iframe now? It is sometimes, mostly iframes are used to show static data. Static data as in like just hello world, something like this. So that user cannot make changes. People always avoid input fields in iframes. You don't use iframes. You don't use forms inside your iframe. Don't do that. Just use iframes for a static data. And slowly people are also avoiding iframes because you don't need to, you can use JavaScript to load another HTML also, like contents of HTML. But iframes are kind of getting outdated now. No one is using iframes anymore. But I'm just letting you know because it is one of the core features of HTML. When it was first introduced, people went like, wow. But now it is kind of old school. So as I said, use it at your own risk. Okay, remember about that. Okay, if by that being said, that concludes HTML. Okay, there are other elements HTML available for us. You can always go back to this HTML w3schools.com, and then you can basically read all of these. They go in depth about everything that I have explained. I did not explain you guys about the HTML media because I want you guys to explore on your own. Okay, you have an option to have audios and videos put on the browser itself. Okay, you can also have YouTube using an iframe. He's using an iframe, right? Like that. You can, I think, also make use of video, I think. And I want you guys to do that. Okay, don't get into tables right now. I will be explaining you tables and ordered list and an unordered list in detail when we are dealing with JavaScripts. Okay, I'll make you understand at that point like how tables work and they are important. Right now, just understand the HTML structure, HTML syntaxes, and HTML attributes. Okay, here. Where does he getting that? Oh, that's weird. We cannot do that. I don't know. I can see. I want you guys to, for your assignment, have this audio video added in our HTML for the last time. But for that we need a video file. We need an audio file, and that is kind of painful to get. You know what? Never mind. Let's skip that. Okay, for your next assignment, okay, get the latest code, and inside 10, 12, 2016 folder, create a new file with your name .html. Okay, I want you guys make sure that head has all six elements. When I say elements, I mean everything. Okay, make sure that the head has all 6 elements and a description and some keywords. Okay, also read an article on HTML responsive and add the correct metadata from w3schools.com. There is an article on HTML5 responsive. Do on W3 schools. I want you to read it and add only the correct metadata for HTML. For HTML only, nothing else. Okay. Again, read an article on HTML responsive and add the correct metadata for HTML only, nothing else. Okay. And the website is w3schools.com. Now, and yeah, and I said, like, you need to make sure that all of these 6 elements and tags are covered. The title, style. I don't want you to write style. Okay, mainly I don't write any styles or scripts. Just mention them and focus on metadata. Okay. Number 4 is follow the Trinity structure and create a form called uh, employee form. Okay, this form should have uh, let's say, name. Oops. Should have let me say this. It should have text field, should have phone field, should have checkbox, should have working radio button. We discussed this in yesterday's class. What is the issue with the radio buttons? 2 buttons, one submit, one reset. Okay, and then what else? One email field, and then one password field. Okay, there is a star point here. Refer to if you need help, if you need assistance, look at yesterday's folder for help. Every field must have the required the every field must have the basic attributes, and I talked about this yesterday. Okay. What else I can, you know what, that is fine. Oh yeah, that's fine, thank you. Also have comments for every element. Okay, I'll be covering, like, these are important, kind of stars are important, so I want you guys to cover all this. Should not take more than 5-10 minutes, because if you are paying attention to the class, you should not be having any issues. And as I said, you can always look for yesterday's class for references. Okay. Now you will be feeling that all these assignments are nothing, but moving forward these assignments will get tougher because I can guarantee you I will not be covering so many topics. I'll be asking you to read some articles online and then completing the assignments. So git commit -m head explained HTML head explained in detail. Go origin master git push. At this point, anyone has any questions? Absolutely anything. Let me know. And I see that people are helping out each other in the group. Kudos. And on purpose, I'm not responding to the questions others are having. I'm seeing like, others are helping out each other. So if you run into some, unanswerable situations, at that point, I'll try to make sure that, I'm helping you out on that. Okay. So any questions?
Shrikar?
Yes, tell me.
Yeah, I'm Sarika. Yeah, like one of interview, I faced a question. Can you explain on custom data attributes in HTML5?
Can you explain the exact question? How?
They are,
That is.
yeah, they actually like custom data attributes.
What is that? I'm sorry. What is the exact? I'm getting a reverb.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. The question is, can you explain on custom data attributes?
Oh, okay. I can better explain you when I'm dealing with JavaScript. That will make you understand more. But basically, every there are certain attributes when it comes to some of the fields. Like for example, you can have, instead of having source in image like img source, you'll be saying data source. What this data basically explains is that it must have at least one character, and how should I say? You know what? I'll explain it when I'm dealing with JavaScript. At that time, I'll be able to explain you in depth, in clearly, because I need to show the relationship between the HTML element and the JavaScript element, and I have to show you the bridge at that point. So I will not be able to explain you like that. But I have the question. Don't worry. I'll have the question, and when I'm in JavaScript we'll be basically capturing elements. Okay, based on that elements capture, we will be dealing with manipulation of that particular element. Like we'll be changing the dimension of that element and so forth. At that point, if I forget, you raise this question again, and I'll definitely at that point I'll be able to answer you. I'll explain it at that point.
Okay.
Because if I do now, you'll not understand anything, and you'll be completely sidetracked. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the newcomers, don't worry. I'll again check it up, and let's see. So Nikita, are you a new student?
Yes, this is my second class actually.
Okay. So you know about the assignments and all that, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, sounds good. So if possible, in tomorrow by 5 p.m. you need to submit the assignment for today. Since you
Yeah, sure.
haven't, yeah, and since you haven't submitted any of the other assignments, um, you can submit all of them by Friday.
All right, thank you.
Okay, just submit all the assignments, right? You can always look in the if you want what exactly you need, you can refer to the video recordings. I'll share the link in WhatsApp group once you're added.
Sure.
Okay,
Thank
and
you.
then
Thank you.
submit the assignment by then.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay, I'm adding you to the group though, so don't worry.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Any questions? If not, then that concludes. And
Srikar,
yes,
so it's a general question. So PHP, do you think it's getting outdated, the PHP language?
no, that's not true though. But people are still hanging on.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So what's the question?
No, that's it. Like it's like simple. Just that's it.
No, and it's not entirely true. I mean, PHP is still. I mean, the basic idea between PHP was XML. XML is getting outdated, so people are slowly coming out. But there are some still like Symfony and UC framework. That is kind of used by Drupal, CMS, content management system,
Yeah.
and also by other software tools. So PHP, I don't think it will be gone. That's so. I doubt it.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. That concludes today's class, guys. I hope you don't have any questions, and if you do, ask it in the group, and then we'll see you tomorrow. Okay. Bye, guys.